All right, you guys, thank you so much for calling in for Fast Track Week 5. Whoa, hold on. Whoa, that was crazy. Hold on. Can you guys hear me okay? Wow, that was crazy. I think somebody tried to log in, probably from my Zoom. They like temporarily stopped and then was like, you cannot start a new meeting. Like the host has a meeting open. It like totally stopped me. So that was crazy. Okay, anyways, it's recording and hopefully you guys are muted. Week 5, please just message a couple people and remind them of why they started. I'll tell you guys, I was talking to a girlfriend the other day who used to compete with me, and she was like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this, and we're going to go executive, and blah, 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 blah. And I just said, I'm going to be real candid with you. And I said, when you used to do bodybuilding shows, you didn't have like of a 16-week prep. You couldn't like 4 or 5 weeks into it, decide to start. You would never make it to that show. Like every week counts. And that was a third or like a quarter of the transformation journey. Like anybody who's ever done this, and I know Trevor and Aaron are experts at it. You guys have probably seen Friends, but the way you cut your calories and you increase your cardio, I mean, there is a very strategic process, and you can't like make up for it the last 3 to 4 weeks. You can't train for a marathon in 3 to 4 weeks. It's a journey. It's a commitment. It's about endurance. It's about perseverance, and going to executive is the same way. So when I think about the energy from week 1, or some of you guys are a third, of the way into it, like week 5, you've got to have the same drive, the same excitement, the same fury that you had at week 1, or you're not going to get to where you want to be. And so a lot of people right now are like, oh my gosh, what was all that with the Cougars? Why was there all this hype? What was the big announcement? People are confused. They don't even know what it is. Number one, the fact that our leaders can rally all of us like that is a testament of our respect for them, of how much we trust them. And here's what you guys needed to know from that. Number one, that was like a State of a Union address of like, this company is going. We're not stopping at $1 billion. We're going to be 5 billion and beyond. And are you sitting on the sidelines, or are you spearheading this mission? Because 2, 3, 4, 5 years, when people know about Isogenics, they either knew about it from you or somebody else. Like part of it was just wake up, that they're looking at the numbers of the 90-day action plan. They're looking at Disney. They're looking at the Start Leadership Retreat and saying, get off the sidelines. Like they came out of retirement for a reason, and they want us running as fast as they're running. That was number one. The second was to announce a challenge. Kathy's calling it the Go Ballistic Challenge, but she said we have 15 weeks until the end of the year. Every single person can enroll one person a week. That's 15 enrollments per Isogenics associate before the end of the year. And so I put this post up in my page, you guys. I know we've got mixed teams on here. And I just said, I'm going for it. I'm doubling it. I'm going for 30. Like if the standard is 1, I'm raising the bar. And that's how I built my business. And then I'm going to throw out some contests and promotions. I'm actually brainstorming what I want to do right now to incentivize those people that actually go for the 15. But just be really, really fired up about that. And the last piece of it was that we don't know what's coming yet, but the announcement at NYKO, the big promotion, they said the biggest one we've ever had. So when we think about trips or resets or any of that type of stuff, that everything we do now will count. So they're encouraging momentum, that whatever it announces in January, what you're doing right now matters. So like, stop waiting. Like the whole thing is like, get into action, get off the sidelines, be in the forefront of this company as we expand into new countries and we really just explode into the largest health and wellness company, and stop waiting and stop allowing time to just pass you by, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to get to NYKO and be in the same place you were at Celebration, and the only person to be frustrated with is the reflection back at you on the mirror. So if you want to go executive, you want to go 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, stop talking, start doing, get on the calls, do your homework, and get into massive action. With that being said, because Kathy fires me up and I love her because she's so direct. Tonight, we're going to talk about objections. We're going to talk about leadership development, and we're going to talk about contribution. And so I want to start just with our core value of contribution. Each call, we're focusing on one of the 12 core values that Isagenix has. And when I used to hear the word contribution, I really didn't know what that meant. Like, I kind of put that in this category of like tithing. Like, it's just something you do. If you make enough money, you give some off. It's a tax write-off. Like, honestly, like that's like, I would hear that word, and that's kind of what I used to think. And when I have gotten to really understand this from either following Tony Robbins and listening to his podcast and attending his seminars, listening to Eric Hoover, contribution is about service. It's about giving back. And some of the people that inspire me so much in our company, they're showing how their time is more valuable than any paycheck they have. You know, Chris Harder and Lori Harder last year, they were in the trenches in some rebuilding projects in California. And I remember Chris being like, we could have written checks for millions, but this and how much that means to people, because I volunteer a couple hours a month. I'm a big sister for the Big Brother, Big Sister organization. That little girl is so excited when I pull up, is so excited. You know, I could give her $100 and go shopping. I could send her money for her lunches. She is without fail, if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's 100 degrees outside, on that porch, ready for me when I pull up, no matter what we're doing, like, because someone cares about her. Someone is going to hang out with her. This is what our company allows us to do. When I worked 80 to 100 hours a week, there's no freaking way I could have done that because I didn't have the time. I didn't have the extra time. Eric has organized Global Give Back Day for years around the globe. You know, all the ambassadors, all the starters around the globe in all of our countries are volunteering at domestic violence shelters, at homeless shelters, in, you know, parks and recreation, whatever it may be, because it's so important. And so when people ask us, like, what makes Isagenix different, like what stands us apart, that's one of the things that ignites me, is like, we believe in contribution. And so Laura talked about this. You guys, by the way, I would love to see your videos. Like, there's 40 people on this call and I've got like 8 videos. Like, be present, get here. It's only 30 minutes of your night. Like, put on your videos. Let me see your faces. Let me see your present. Stop doing dishes and laundry and just dial in for a little bit. When Laura talked a couple weeks ago about the Legacy Club and how we've moved away from Make-A-Wish, the Isagenix founders, our team is covering all of those expenses, that none of it, like with Red Cross or other nonprofit organizations, that none of the money, none of those proceeds is going to run the business. They're covering all of those costs. So every penny that the field gives to contribute to our Legacy Foundation is going to the 3 areas that we believe in. So like, every single person, and this is gonna be part of your homework, go in, edit your auto ship at minimum at $1. $1 a month that donates to the Legacy Foundation, okay? That is $12 a year. You guys, most people spend that on Starbucks in 2 days. $12 a year, it's $1. As my business has grown, I went from a $1 donation to a $5 donation to a $10 donation. There's people that do a $100 or a $1,000 donation. But just commit to giving back, because I promise you, if it was you that was on the East Coast that just went through that hurricane, you would hope that someone was there to help you and your family. So just invest in others, not because of what comes back to you, but because that's what we do as human beings. That's what we do as Isagenix ambassadors. So I want to move into the objections. And if you guys want to type in the chat, I'm watching it, the most common objections that you have, or if you have a question, but I'll go through the most popular ones. But if you guys have a couple things and you're like, hey, talk about this, or what would you say about that, I'm totally fine to answer them and not just tell you what I want. But the ones that I have are cost, it's a shake thing, it's MLM, it's a pyramid thing, I only eat whole foods. Those are the ones that I have. So outside of that, if there's something that you want me to address, type it and I will, or feel free to ask me afterwards. Otherwise, that's what I'm gonna go through. Your homework outside of contributing to the Legacy Foundation is to listen to 2 calls. You guys, Tracy O'Malley's Overcoming Objections calls, I'll place them for you tonight, and Chris Harder's Overcoming Objection calls. Oh, Angie's talking about auto ship. Okay, I'm gonna make a note. That's actually a good one. Auto ship, my pen's not working. Someone remind me if I forget about it. So the already eating healthy, Christina, that's what the whole food one I'm going to come to. Oh, I need to speak to my husband and wife. Okay, that's a good one too. I'm just going to keep these up so I can go back to it. Now I just 100% forgot what I was saying. Oh, regardless of the objection, regardless, it is coming from the place that you have not done the due diligence of, number 1, creating the value, And number two, asking the questions that they are telling you why they need this. Okay. So every one of them, yes, there are some things that I can tell you that are going to help you overcome this, right? There are some things that I can tell you in the right verbiage. But the Tracy O'Malley and the Chris Harder call is where I learned so much of this. There's books out there, you guys, like How to Win Over and Influence Friends, that's all about kind of discovery questions and getting the value and getting them to tell you why they need this, that you really are not selling anything. So regardless of what it is, I want you to know that. The second thing I'm going to tell you is that whatever objection you're getting the most is your own objection. So if you are someone who always gets the cost objection, you have an issue with your money blueprint, you think it's expensive, you've got to go to work on yourself before you keep recruiting, right? You've got to understand the value of this and work on your own money blueprint. I never had that. You guys, the doctor's office I was in, we sold $2,500 to $4,000 nutrition packages with 6 visits and supplements. Right? That's where I went to. I looked at the value pack that at the time was like $560 and I was like, wait, what? But it's $500. Like that looked so inexpensive to me because I was selling $4,000 packages at the doctor's office. So for someone who bought $20 protein from Vasa Fitness, they're like, holy cow, the value pack is expensive. Like you've got to work on this if you're going to teach people about it. But no matter what it is, if you're getting the like, oh my gosh, it's one of those things, I'm an MLM thing, you've got to work on your belief in network marketing. Like you've got to work on your belief in this industry because what you're putting out there is absolutely reflecting and showing back up in your business. So when it comes to cost, you have got to ask the discovery questions. This is the interview questions that they are telling you how much they're spending. So some of the things that I ask up front when they're like, hey, I want to know more about this, and we get on the phone, walk me through a typical day. I'd love to know what you eat for breakfast, what you eat for lunch, your snacks. Are you taking any vitamins and supplements right now? Do you eat out? Like paint the picture for me. And they're going to say something like, oh, I usually get a coffee in the morning. Sometimes I make a bagel. Sometimes I do oatmeal. A lot of times I do dinner leftovers, or I go out with my coworkers. Dinner could be anything. Sometimes we go out. Sometimes it's tacos, whatever people tell you. Do you take any vitamins right now? Oh yeah, I take a fish oil. I take a probiotic. I'm like, okay. If you were to tell me how much you spend per day, what do you think that is? Most people go, I have no idea. I'm like, well, think about it. Everybody's a little bit different. Be patient, right? Just ask them and then shut up. Like, Erin, just tell me how much are you spending per day? It'll be awkward. Wait, let them be like, I don't know, maybe like $30, $40 a day. Awesome. That's going to help you later. If they're like, I don't know, $6 to $8 a day, I'm like, are you only eating egg whites? Because that's impressive. Like that means you're on like a ramen and like egg white diet. It's possible, but we want to be able for them to tell us. I ask questions like on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to changing? Like, why is this important to you? When was the last time you walked in to your closet and you were excited to get dressed? You didn't have to sort out like my fat pants, my loose shirt. You could just walk in there and be fired up to put on whatever you wanted to wear that day. Like, when did you feel that way? How would you feel to walk in and be able to slip on anything with ease, to be excited to get dressed in the morning? Like, how would that make you feel? Let them tell you, because at the point when they're like, how do I get started? Or when you say, you know what, I think you are going to be perfect for the value pack. I recommend this because of XYZ. Number one, they see the value in it because they want the energy. They want their skinny jeans. However, if they say, oh my gosh, they're just way too expensive, I can say, well, actually, you told me you were spending $25 to $30 a day. Like the data would show you're actually going to spend or save $8 to $10 a day. And explain to them, I realize that the cash flow, it seems like a lot up front. However, if you really reallocate your 68 meals over the month, over 20 of your snacks, swap out your current vitamins for these, like you're already spending this. I'm actually going to save you money, but it's breaking it down. But if you go the other way and try to say, oh my gosh, this pack's amazing, it's $600, and they haven't told you why it's important, they haven't told you what you're spending, it will never work. Because we say, well, how much do you spend a day? They're going to go, I don't know, like $5, right? They're going to go the other way. You've got to get their buy-in before you tell them the cost. This is like the number one reason why I get it offline. When I'm talking to people and they're like, well, tell me how much it is. I say, well, I don't know anything about you. we don't have a one size fits all program. I've got to get to know you so I can make the best recommendation for you, right? Like your job is not to tell them the cost. Your job is to get to their goals, for them to state their pain points, and then us be able to break down what they're already spending into something else. So let's go into the shake thing, right? Like, ooh, I don't like shakes, or I already eat whole food, or those types of things. I know that a couple of you guys had asked that one. The number one thing that I can tell you that will help you with this is understanding our 4 pillars. If you really, truly understand what makes Isogenic so dynamic and so different, then this will never come up, because it doesn't matter. So when I talk about the 4 pillars, the 4 legs of the table, we have our shakes, we have our ionics, we have cleanse, and we have vitamins. And this is nature's solution to 3 major health issues, 3 major things that affect all of us. So number 1, bankrupt food. Number 2, a toxic environment. And number 3, stressed lifestyles. So if you're only eating whole foods, right? When people tell me, well, I do Whole30 or I eat all organic, I'm like, awesome. Did you know that you have to eat 40 cups of spinach today to equate to the 1 cup in the 1960s? Like, can you eat 40 cups of spinach? Like, there's no way I can eat 40 cups of spinach, right? Paint the picture for them. Do you know that you have to eat 9 oranges today in order to equate the same vitamin C in the orange from like 1975? This is all Peter Greenlaw's information. You guys can look it up. Type in Peter Greenlaw Isogenics. It's there. Like literally telling them that it doesn't matter how clean you're eating. Everything is nutritiously deprived. We've got to fill in the gaps. Ask them about their life. And I'm like, okay, so when you have 3 kids yelling at you in the middle of the afternoon, that doesn't stress you out. Driving in traffic doesn't stress you out. You wake up with tons of energy in the morning. Like you don't have a 2 p.m. caffeine nap cookie crash, like, right? And I'm like, so you don't need Ionic Supreme? I mean, like break it down for them, what that does for you, why it's your happy juice, why it's your go-go juice, and why they would need it. When we talk about our cleanse, the kidneys and liver, I mean, God bless them, they do amazing things. But I ask people things like, well, how many cars were on the road 100 years ago? How many parabens and herbicides and pesticides? Like think about the amount of makeup you put on your face, the lotion you put on your body, the air that you breathe every single day. Are you really trusting your kidneys and liver to do the work alone? And it's okay to say things like, do you agree that rates of autoimmune are increasing? Do you agree that rates of cancer are increasing? Like this is why I believe food alone is not enough. So when you understand those 4 pillars and people say things to you like, I already eat healthy, I don't need weight to lose. I'm like, well, we're a wellness company. We're not a weight loss company. And being able to ask the right questions will always come down to that. So keto, someone's talking about like keto is healthier. So ketogenesis, which done correctly is really intended to be a short-term thing. When practitioners do that, that is not a lifestyle. That is not a way of living. It is a glorified Atkins. But if you start to even ask ketogenic people, they have to take so many supplements because they are not getting the nutrition that they need. I don't believe you have to be a nutritionist to understand this, but like when in your life is asparagus and broccoli not a good thing? Like, unless you have a like unique allergy, right? When you're telling like, don't eat the vegetables, they have too many carbs, like that is God's food, it comes from the ground. That is just crazy talk in my opinion. But be able to educate people about that and saying, okay, so for the rest of your life, you want to cook eggs in lard with cheese and bacon. That sounds good to you. Like that sounds actually delicious. Like you want to do that every single day. Awesome. Call me in a month and let me know how that worked out for you. It's so much easier to cast the vision of an 80-20 lifestyle. I don't want to put you on a diet. If you want to have toast in the morning, have toast. If you want to have, a breakfast burrito, have a breakfast burrito. The next 2 days, have shakes. If you're going to have pasta with your family that night, have shakes earlier on the day. It's really just being bulletproof about what we do. And again, talking to them ahead of time and getting them to tell you why they want to do it. Like I will ask, why did you do keto? How is it working for you? How much are you spending? Are you craving things? Like ask the right questions that they will tell you that it sucks, that they don't have energy. It's really expensive. Their stomach hurts all the time. Like if you ask the right questions, they will tell you. When we get into the like, ooh, is it one of those things? Is it MLM? The best way for you guys to handle this is something that I relate to as the feel, felt, found. Like empathize with them, have compassion, understand that objection is coming from a right place, and then ask permission to educate them. You know, oh my gosh, I used to feel the exact same way until I found, I used to feel the same way. And if you're open to it, I'd love to actually explain to you why this is an amazing company and we're not a scam or we're not a pyramid. And be able to educate them that MLM, first of all, references no product. Pyramid is no product, and talk about how we are distributing a quality product, that we have so many reorders, on our product, that our retention is so high because of the product. And then explain to people about the gig economy, about e-commerce and that word of mouth and people are shopping online, and break it down on what it was. The number one reason that people have that fear is because there were companies with poor products that they feel like they're spending money so someone can get rich and they're not going to get a quality product. Be confident that you can send them research from isagenixhealth.net, being able to plug them in to our website that's loaded with data and information, and they can look it up. When you try to look up ingredients on some companies, you guys, it's like hard to find. It's like hidden information, right? I'm like, the fact that you don't want this open to people is a problem. They can go to isaproduct.com and look up anything they want. Like, we're so transparent because of the quality of the product. So just being able to educate them about the word of mouth business model that we've chosen and really what network marketing is, and that even without wanting to do the business, right? Even without becoming an associate or wanting to become a distributor, this is what Isagenix is. And this is what I tell people. I learned it from Cindy Hedges, and I've said it 5,000 times in 5 years. We are going to show you how to open up a wholesale account just like Costco. So whether you shop once a week, once a month, once a year, once you have your wholesale membership for only $29, you are always going to spend wholesale price. So for example, a container of shakes with your wholesale account is about $35. Without it, it's $60. So right away, I'm going to save you a ton of money. And then you're going to shop online with the same ease and convenience as Amazon. You won't have to get a hold of me every time your fish oil is low. You don't have to message me every time you need more protein bars. You don't have to wait in line at Whole Foods in the middle of the day when your kids are sick to buy more protein. You can shop online. We have an amazing app to help you. And the best part is it comes with Nordstrom quality service. Anything you don't like, anything that's ever been, damaged in the shipping product, whatever it may be, we'll fix it. I'm going to coach you with that same Nordstrom quality service. Our customer service at the home office is impeccable. And this is what you get. This is the benefit of having a Freedom Wholesale account. People are like, whoa, right? They don't think at all that it's some MLM thing or it's some scam because they relate to Costco, they relate to Amazon, they relate to Nordstrom. Our job is just to educate and be able to break it down. So the last one, kind of back to the Whole Foods thing, when people say, I just want to eat food, like I don't like shakes, I don't want to drink my food, I'm going to be hungry. Just remind them that they get food and snacks. Remind them that they're not only eating Isagenix, that the shakes are supplementing a Whole Foods diet, that the shakes are filling in the gaps, but they still get food. And share with them some of the recipes from the recipe pages on Pinterest, or share with them some of your healthy meals and say, you know what, I thought that too, but I actually craved my pumpkin spice shake this morning. I could not wait to have it. I was so busy all day long. My hair appointment took 2 hours longer than I wanted to. I don't know what I would have done if I actually didn't have my lemon passion bar with me. It was amazing. And tonight we're making chicken lettuce wraps, jasmine rice. Tell them exactly what you're doing. And they're like, oh, that was convenient. I want a pumpkin pie shake. Oh, and I can still have dinner with my family. Really, the objections are just fear. And be open to it, because if they're having objections, they're interested, they're just scared. And don't allow the objections to derail you. Be unshakable, be bulletproof, be rock solid, and just be patient. If people are asking objections, they're interested, they're just nervous. And your belief, your posture, your knowledge is what's going to allow them to trust you to take the leap into trying this. And then I heard, or I saw Aaron type in there, what if they have to talk to their husband and wife? So validate that, support them. Oh my gosh, I totally get that. I mean, what a sign of a healthy relationship that you want to consult with your spouse or partner before doing this. What I'd love to know is, what specific questions do you think they'll have? I want to put you in the right direction so you don't spend your quality time tonight researching everything, because it's Latin to you and it's clear to me. And I'd also love to schedule a follow-up time in case he wants to join you. I'd love to know his questions, because the couples that do this together crush it. So why don't we set a time after you two have chatted? We can all hop on the phone, so I can be available to answer both of your questions and onboard you together. Like cast the vision that he's coming in with her or she's coming in with him and set the appointment. When you're like, oh yeah, okay, totally get it, call me back, you're not gonna hear from that person because they're gonna go home, they're gonna get shot down, and then they're gonna feel stupid that they almost got sucked into buying something, right? Unless we prepare them for what's going to happen. And even if they go, oh, you know what, my husband doesn't want me to spend the money right now, say, you know, I'd really love to chat with him. Like, can we please hop on the phone for a few minutes? Or did you show him this? Just be willing to show the information to give that person the belief and the confidence to really stand up for what they want to do. Reinforce the fact that it's 100% money back guarantee. And I've said things to people like, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you had your ideal body, your ideal energy, like how pleasurable would you to be around, right? Like get them to tell you, oh my gosh. And I said, and right now, how are you? Like, do you think most people want to be around you? Is your family frustrated by you? Are you frustrated with yourself? Like, what if there was a way that you could actually be a better partner because you got your confidence back, your energy back, your health back? Like, I would tell your husband that. Tell him to give you 29 days. And if you don't get the transformation, we'll send it back. And they're like, that husband immediately is like, oh my gosh, if my wife is not going to be a witch anymore, I'm on board. I don't care. They're ready to pay for it. Here's the credit card, because they know they're cranky. They know they're tired. They know they're irritable. So just be able to talk them through the process and be in bulletproof. I'm going to transition because I know that I'm already almost about 30 minutes into some leadership stuff. And then anybody who wants to stay on and ask questions, because I know there's a lot tonight. I don't have anywhere to be. I don't have anyone to call, that I will happily stay on tonight and go through some of this or role play with you guys a little bit if you want tonight. We talk about leadership development. The very first thing I want to be able to show you is that this is a show me business, not a tell me business. I actually just talked about this on the Step Up to Success call with Martha. And what I mean by that is if you are barking orders at people and you're just telling them what to do, they're not going to move. They're just not. If, you know, Holly hired Erin to be her personal trainer and she's never stepped foot into a gym before, right? She has never, ever been inside a gym. And he just gives her a piece of paper that talks about leg press and Romanian deadlifts and single arm dumbbell curls. And she's like, well, but guess what she's ever going to do? Ever. She's never going to do that workout. She's going to be scared. She's embarrassed. She has no idea what's happening. That is a foreign language. She's never going to go. But if Erin's like fired up, oh my God, meet me there. I'm going to walk you through everything. They do the workout together. He spots her. He does some things more than once. They probably do this a few times. She's like, okay, cool. I got it. Right? She's ready. She's ready to go in on week 3 or week 4 and work out on her own. Sometimes we're so excited. This one's like, I want to share. It's like, oh, here's your Eyes to Life success manual. Good luck. And they're like, oh, whoa, what? You know, like you have to be able to show them how to set up a 3-way call, how to set up a 3-way message. One of the things that I've learned over the years is like we cannot bark orders and we have got to handhold people. So 4.5 years ago, when Kisa got started, and thank goodness she's so smart and so proactive that she did this on her own. But had I just said to her, which I did, you should put a power post up. If she didn't have the due diligence to research that and figure out what she was and already have a social media presence, she would have been like, huh? Like, what's a power post and what about what? Like, it wouldn't have ever happened. And that's what happened with 100 people that I enrolled. I said, oh, put a power post up, right? I had been to NYKO. I heard Alexis Romano train about that. They didn't. They had no clue what I was talking about. So guess what? They never did it. Where today, I have a brand new girl and I'm like, Kira, this is verbiage that we have seen to be so successful. If we were to create something that you could share your story, kind of announce to the world what you're doing and just see who's interested, to just see who would maybe be willing to do this, would you be courageous enough, like bold enough to put it out there? I'll help you with it. We'll find a cool picture, but I think this will help you get paid and really inspire a lot of people. What do you guys think the likelihood is of getting this power post up? Sure, there's definitely some people that are like, oh, I don't want to tell anybody, or I don't want my pictures on the internet, and that's okay. However, by showing them what to do, how to do something compliant, what we use, when to post, they feel competent. They feel capable of doing it. Same thing is with a tasting party. So when I would tell people like, oh, you should have a launch party. Here's a call. Cindy had just talked about how to do a call. You listen to this call and do a launch party. None of my team was doing them because they had no idea what to do and they were petrified to talk in front of people. But I have a lot of new girls right now, and I'm like, hey, tomorrow night I'm doing a health and wellness event. I want you to come. You can see exactly how I do it, that the video does the talking. We sample the products. And then next week or the following week, I will help you do yours. We're going to schedule an event. I'll show you how to invite people. I'll come over. We'll play the same videos. Come watch mine first, and then I'll help you with yours so you understand what it looks like. It won't be scary anymore. The amount of people on my team that are hosting their own sip and samples or their own social soirees has exponentially grown because they were shown how to do it. It's like taking the time to talk your team through the things that you want them to do. So that's the first one. The second that is really, really hard for a lot of us to wrap our heads around if we're building this business and committed to it is people's time management and just their daily allocation to their Isagenix business. So if you were to ask like Aaron or Trevor and I, if like we worked out today or we worked out this week, no one has to. That is ingrained in us. That is what we do. If we're on the road, if we're at an event, if we're hungover, this is what we do. It's a part of our lifestyle. It is a habit. It's the same thing with my Isagenix business. I mean, I've been telling people for years, one of the reasons Laura Lori's business is so successful is because she has been consistent. This woman was in the hospital and she was enrolling president's packs on Thanksgiving Day because she talked to people when she had the opportunity. I have never seen her travel so much back to back as she has in the last 2 months, and her business is growing because an hour a day, just like she works out an hour a day, she contacts some people. She follows up with some people. I have been there. I have watched her say, I just need to touch my business for an hour, and she does. And then she parties like a rock star and has a great time on her vacation. But what we don't necessarily understand is our people don't have that discipline. Our team members don't really know what that looks like. And spending the time to say, okay, I know you're super busy, but when you sit down to do your Isagenix business, what are you doing that's income producing? Like, just ask the question, because 9 out of 10 times they're going to say, well, I went on the Facebook group or I listened to the team call, and listening to a call is not going to get you paid. Me watching Aaron work out on YouTube is not going to help me get in shape, right? I have to go do the work myself. So you have to ask them things like, well, did you talk to anybody today? There's this girl at school that I thought I was going to talk to, but then you start to figure out what's holding them back. You can see the fears, right? Hey, I know you mentioned to me last week, a girl at work had asked you about what you were doing. What did you say to her? Right? Like, did you follow up with her? Did you add her to the page? Like, really intimately asking people what they do. The Power Hour sheet that Lindsay Winia and like Rebecca Caffiero talk about, that if you just have 1 hour, your connections, your follow-ups, checking in with your cleansers, talking to people about events, sending birthday messages, like what are the things you're doing? And everybody's a little bit different. But I think that this is super, super important. And just ask yourself that question. Like, when you're working with your leaders, do you know what their day looks like? Do you know what's holding them back? I think it's really important to play into people's strengths before we give feedback. So one of the things that I've been doing is asking people, where do you excel at? What are you really, really good at? Like, what do you do in this business that makes it fun for you? Where do you think you thrive? And it's actually challenging. You guys will see people don't necessarily want to answer. They're like, I don't know. Like, I think I'm a good cleanse coach. I'm like, well, how is that helping you with the business, right? And trying to get them to tell you, like, okay, I'm a great recruiter. And then going into, well, what are the things that you could improve on? Where are the areas that I could help you with? And let them tell you, I don't know how to develop people, right? I don't have really great retention. I don't know how to run a contest for my team. I mean, whatever it is and wherever people are at, but asking them, because you're going to start to see the things that hold them back, or you're going to realize the skill set that you really focus on, because everybody's different. I think that when you can get to know your team, one of the things that you really want to assess, and this is not verbiage of my own, it's something that it makes total sense to me though, is the difference of attitude and aptitude. So aptitude is the natural skill set, right? Like Jen Feiter came in with a skill set, and the fact that she's an influencer, you know, like I knew it right away, but I remember her telling me that she had done so much work for things to do when you're pregnant and nursing. She literally basically created a manual that, like, when all of her friends were pregnant and nursing, they were like coming to her for like which formula to buy or what food or what Pampers or whatever it was, because they trusted her. So when she got into Isagenix, she had a natural influential personality. That's part of her aptitude. She's also incredibly organized. So where some people struggle with organizing their leads or being able to manage their time or whatever that looks like, work on social media, she had that skill set. That's part of her aptitude. You know, understanding network marketing or sales or nutrition, she had to learn that skill set. Now the attitude, you guys, this is how coachable people are. So when I tell you I was the most coachable person, if Janny had said, I need you to lay down in the snow in January and make 20 snow angels because that's going to get you to 3-star, I would have done it. I probably would have made 50 because I did what she said. She was the millionaire mentor. So Jen and Adam are and were incredibly coachable. They would put Facebook posts up that I was like, have you considered maybe doing it this way? Or what we've seen to be successful is this. And they were like, oh yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, we'll do it, whatever. They didn't know network marketing. And they were coachable. They did what we said because success leaves clues. They wanted to do what other people that were successful were doing it. When Kisa came in, she was great at social media. Kisa is so good at throwing events. Like her very first event, as nervous as she was a massive turnout for someone's first event. She's good at collaborating. She's good at bringing people together. She's good at creating a theme. I can imagine that Kisa has probably thrown some amazing bridal showers, bachelorette parties, like wedding parties, things because you could see the skill set. Again, she didn't know anything about isogenics. There was a different skill set she had to learn. So the point of this is the more that you can get to know your team, like what do they naturally bring in? What is their aptitude to this? Like some people are not good on social media. Some people are not good at being organized. Some people are not good at time management. Some people are really introverted and don't know how to talk to people. Some people already come in with those skill sets. But more important to me, if I'm going to work closely with someone, and I encourage you guys to do the same, more than the skill set, because things can be trained, is really the attitude. Are they grateful? Are they service oriented? Right? Are they coachable? Are they invested in other people? The people that are going to play the shame blame game, like, oh, poor me, shame on you, blame on this. The people that are narcissistic, the people that only focus on themselves, they don't care about other people. It's what are you doing for me, not what am I doing for you? Move on. Move on. They are not going to take you to the top and they're going to suck all of the energy out of you. I would much rather spend time developing someone with zero skill set who is grateful and excited and focused on other people and so coachable than trying to spend time with a know-it-all who is defensive and angry and ungrateful that had the best skill set in the world. Everybody's going to be a little bit different, but when you're really focusing on developing people, you've got to be able to spend some time with them. And the last thing I kind of want to leave you with is when you get people really excited, so you've casted the vision for them and they're, you know, motivated to do this, they're understanding our compensation plan, there has to be steps that everybody does the same. Like I remember being at Eric Worre's Go Pro event once, and he said, okay, you know you've made it well when someone 10 or 20 levels down in your organization onboards someone the same way. And I was like, whoa, I don't even think 3 levels down my business is doing that. Like if I wasn't directly coaching them and I was such a control freak at the time, I had no idea what was happening. But putting things in place that, like, is there a checklist? Like for us, you know, Jen has helped us with our enrollment form that on the back, there's a checklist. Like, did you add them to the Facebook group? Did you send them the welcome email? Did they get a welcome video? Have you talked to them about IsoBody? Did they enroll in the IsoLife app? I mean, there should literally be a checklist that no matter what, everybody's doing that when they get someone started. I mean, the IsoLife app is helping us. The IsoLife Success Manual is awesome. Like doing the Say, Share, Do. I mean, we actually have a handbook now to onboard people into isogenics. It's amazing. But if we're not talking about it, they don't know that it's there. So Kisa knows about it. Kisa's personally enrolled does. But does someone 8 levels down in her business right now know that we have the IsoLife Success Manual, that everything you need to know is in that business? So putting those practices in place. I know Rebecca Caffiaro's team all trains on the Power Hour. I mean, they commit to it. They've got people that Zoom in, they text each other like Power Hour from 6 to 7, boom, they dial in whatever they can get done. They hold each other accountable. I've built my business and I've built the team on what we call our 3x3, our income producing activity sheet, which is 3 connections, 3 follow-ups, 3 acts of service, you know, doing your intention and goal setting and gratitude in your social media posts. It's on one page. You know, I ask people all the time, did you do your 3x3? Have you done your 3x3? Have you done your IPA sheet? everybody's a little bit different. If that's not working for you, I give you permission, obviously, to find out what works for you or for your team. But the idea is there has to be a common practice that everybody's doing the same thing. This business is not about doing it the Carrie way or the Jackie way or the Christina way or the Victoria way or the Laura way or the Gita way. It is doing it the Isagenix way. This is not about who does it right. It's about who can duplicate the most. Like, that's the number one thing, is not knowing everything, but having systems in place that anybody can do it. You know, when Tanya Kirkpatrick talked about her events would be huge, but there was no duplication because no one could be her, and she literally had to stop talking and play the videos. I resonated with that. I could close anybody with a president's pack if they came to an opportunity meeting, but no one else was doing it because they looked at me like I was speaking isolatin of adaptogenic herbs and unddenatured protein and everything else. When I started just sharing stories and playing the videos, we grew, and we grew fast, and everybody was doing it because they felt comfortable with what they were doing. So on the objections, you guys, I'm just going to recap a little bit, and then if you guys have questions, use the chat or reach out. But when you're getting a ton of objections, the two things to really focus on is, number one, you're not doing a good enough job asking questions and creating the value ahead of time. You know, getting them to tell you why they need it, doing the layers of the onion peeling back, that they're telling you the pain points, they're telling you how much they're spending, they are telling you why they need Isagenix, is number one. The second is usually your own limiting belief. If you're getting the same thing over and over, go to work on that for yourself, because you're putting it out to the universe. You're already calling them going, oh my God, they're going to think it's so expensive. You're putting it out to the universe. Oh my gosh, they're going to think I'm selling them, right? So you want to be able to kind of plan ahead for that, and almost like you can talk through it in your pitch. Like, you know, it's so funny because I remember too, like in the beginning, I was like, I'm not a shake girl. I eat whole foods. And it's funny because now I like crave my shakes. I actually would rather have my shakes than a salad sometimes. Like, talk through it in conversation so you're already planning it before it even happens. But whether it's, you know, the cost, if it's network marketing, if it's Whole Foods, all of these things can be trained. So listen to the homework. Chris Harder, Tracy O'Malley, they're great calls. There's a ton of stuff out there. And ultimately, just remember that if people are saying no, they're saying not now. They're saying no to themselves. They're afraid that they're not going to succeed, that they can't commit. Your job is to stay bulletproof, unshakable, not waver, and just be there for when the time has changed. I'll tell you guys a quick story, and for those of you that are in my business page, you saw this, but a friend of mine from high school had a post up 2 weeks ago, basically talking about the cost of daycare and how expensive it was, and that his wife wasn't going to be able to keep her job because the daycare was more expensive than her salary. And I reached out to them and I just said, I saw the post. You know, you might think I'm crazy, but I've actually helped a lot of families with supplemental income or been able to free moms at their home with their kids full time. I saw your post, and if you have any interest, I'd love to chat with you. This guy bit my head off, you know, and this whole thing about how hopefully I hadn't invested a lot of money into this company, and, you know, if I got out early, blah, blah, blah. He literally had typed out Isagenix is bullshit. And I was like, oh, hell no. You did not say that about this company. I love the Cougars. And I wrote back, and everybody saw my screenshots of the reply. And I just said, I'm so sorry that I offended you. I mean, I started with the apology. Like, I promise you, I came from a place of service. I've helped a lot of people. The last thing I wanted to do was make you uncomfortable or offend you. And then I broke down the statistics that Kathy told us. But, you know, by 2020, the gig economy, this and that. And then I broke down Isagenix numbers and my numbers. And it was kind of like, you know, you can have your opinion, but I'm actually rock solid in mine, was the gist of it. Today, his wife asked me about the products. She's coming to my event tomorrow. So you got to stand rock solid in what we're doing. That would deflate a lot of people. You'd be like, oh my gosh, like they rejected me. They think I'm selling them. But when you know your mission, when you're so clear, like people are going to come back to you. So just be so consistent and so diligent with that. The second thing we kind of talked about is contribution. And I just really want to encourage you guys, where in your life can you contribute more? Maybe it's your team. Maybe it's just spending 5 or 10 minutes to spend time being grateful for them. If you're cycling 1 time a week, there are people below you busting their butts. If they're cycling 10 times a week, there are people making sacrifices for this that you're benefiting from. Spend the 5 or 10 minutes to send birthday wishes to people. Do you know how fun that is than to just write HBD on someone's wall? Send notes. Like the last 2 weeks, you guys, I had so much fun. I was sending little Disney cards, and I put lottery tickets in there and these fun things of people that went consultant, people that had enrolled people. I pulled the Disney reports and I was sending these little gadgets just to really cheer people on because I'm grateful for them. And I know that there's moms staying up a little later to do this. I know that they are missing bath time or doing whatever it takes to be here. Celebrate them, volunteer a little bit more, tithe a little bit more, whatever it takes. The more freedom that you have from this, the more that this company is providing for you, the more you give back. I promise you it comes back tenfold. That is not why you do it. It will, but it will fill your heart. It just raises your vibration, and it will attract in the type of people you want in your business. You will attract in people that are aligned with this core value and ultimately are going to give more and take it to the top. When it comes to leadership development, you guys, just remember it's show me, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me. If someone gave me a manual, this real life happens all the time, how to build something, like I am IKEA's worst person. Everything comes out of a box and I look at it and I don't know the Chinese, the Japanese, or the Spanish from the English, and I build it upside down and backwards, right? It doesn't work. But the couple times Lori Rizzo came over and was like, look, this is that. And I was like, oh my gosh, why does this always seem so difficult to me? It's worth talking people through a shake day, talking them through a cleanse day, talking them through how to do a sip and sample, how to do an ATM, how to do a 3-way call. Just show me. If you are just barking at people, watch this, do this, go to that. Like they're so overwhelmed and they're so confused, it deflates them. But if you can empower people and just say, you know what, I really want to show you how to do this. You can be amazing at this. You're going to help so many people, and I want to help you, right? Asking them questions. Okay, what are the top 3 things you're good at right now? What are the top 3 traits you're bringing to the table, to the team that you just excel at? Like Alex is an amazing social media guru. She's an amazing graphic designer. She's an amazing marketer. But when I met her, she was very shy and she was very introverted and she was very afraid of sales. And we had to work on that, but we could, definitely build upon. And one of the areas I built her belief was I started asking her to do things for the team because she would go, oh my gosh, if Lauren's trusting me to do this, I must be good enough. That's the way that works. And so we could work on the areas that were holding her back in the process of celebrating what she was doing really well, what she was doing really good at, and she came to my events and now I've watched her go up and fly out of the nest and she does all of her own stuff. So just remember when you're working with people to dial into that, ask the questions, and people are like, oh my gosh, no one's calling me back. And I say, well, what did you say to them? Laura was on vacation and she asked me to reach out to someone on the team, and I did, and she's kind of not getting any responses. And I said, would you mind sending me what you're sending to people? I would love to give you some feedback. And I got some of those voice memos and I was like, holy crap, no wonder why no one's messaging you back, right? It doesn't mean she sucks at this and she can't be a professional network marketing. It means she needed some coaching. But there was an opportunity to do so. Getting to work closely with people. Kelly and Laura Stevens on the leadership call last month talked about how you should know your team members' carpet color. And it's an analogy, but that means you got to the trenches with them. And as she said that, I started to think about all of the executives on my team: Stacy, Andriana, Kisa, Alex, Kristen Burgess, Melanie, Jen, Laura, my sister, Krista, all of them, Jen Torres. And I was like, I've been to all of their homes. I was like, oh my gosh, every one of those people, I've been to their homes. I've done launch parties with them. I've stayed the night at their house. I've traveled with them. And I was like, I get it. Like, it's so important. When Hillary Courtney is driving and spending 4 hours with her new builders for a couple days, it's sitting next to them. And just recently, I've been hosting these masterminds. You guys, last night was the 5th one. We spent 3 hours on You Share, They Share 3 weeks ago. There was 11 people in there. Not one person could do it. Not one. And where most people are like, what do you mean not one person could do it? You guys hear it, you watch the videos to actually talk it through and teach someone. And it was a totally eye-opening moment of how much more closely I want to be working with people so I can actually show them, that I can actually figure out what's holding them back. Another week, we spent hours on the 30-second story. But someone on this call, Jenny Adams, who I know a month ago would never have felt comfortable sharing her story at the event, tomorrow night is sharing her story at the health and wellness event because she is competent. She has the tools. She's practiced. She knows what to do. She knows it's compliant. That all this stuff comes back tenfold. So really, really just lock arms with people. And the last piece of this is, track your performance. So I use fitness a lot, you guys, because that's my background. But when I trained for half marathons, like I tracked my distance. I wasn't just going to one day run 13 miles. Like one day I ran 4, the next week I ran 6, the next week I ran 8. You know, I tracked if I was running 9, 10, 11-minute miles because I was tracking a goal. When I used to compete, I knew how much cardio it was. I wasn't like, I'm just going to do the Stairmaster until I'm tired. Like I had to do 20 minutes every day, then 30 minutes every day, then an hour every day. You track it. The same way when people are on keto, they're tracking their carbs. It's because there's data. That 3x3 sheet works for me. The leader in action formula is something Isagenix has created for all of us. How many people are you enrolling? How many people are you rank advancing? Are they rank advancing other people? What's your net cycle growth? I mean, track it. Jessica Rigner has an Excel sheet where she's tracked her cycles every single day, every single week for 5 years. She knows when her slow weeks are. She knows when big push weeks are. She can look at it, and then she runs contests based on those weeks, or she knows when she can kind of slow back if it's going to be an explosive week. She tracks her business. I mean, any business has KPIs, key performance indicators. A lot of us come into this like you don't have to have the skill set, right? Most of us don't have the aptitude to know what a KPI is. However, if you really want to build this business, you've got to track your performance. What's your retention? How many people are you enrolling? How many people are you rank advancing? Even just your map to Crystal Executive on the fast track plan, you've got to enroll 30 to 50 people and create 2 to 3 consultants a week. If you guys are going executive, I mean, that's just the numbers and being able to keep track of it. The last thing that I really want to just leave you guys with is the qualities of the people that you really want to run with. So when you really can put your CEO hat on, and I know we don't hire and I know we don't fire, but when you think about the Cougars, when they rebuilt our executive team 2 years ago, they sought out Christina Swift. They sought out Travis Ogden, right? I mean, the amount of interviews that they did for Cal's position, you guys, it's crazy. And they were digging through all of the brown and green and red M&Ms for the blue M&Ms. They were digging so closely because they knew exactly who they wanted to partner with, the skills they wanted, the traits they wanted, and what was going to take this company to a multiple billion-dollar company that will put them back into retirement. They were so crystal clear. And a lot of us want to sell a 30-day to anybody with a heartbeat. And yes, our products are great. And if you're eating food and drinking water, you can use Isagenix. However, if you're really trying to build this to the top, get clear on the qualities of people that you want to run with. When you're developing people, and even people in our company that came for the products only, Tanya, Trudy, Tracy O'Malley, Betsy Frame, Cindy Hedges, Erin, Janie Elo, describe them. What qualities do they have? What common denominators do they have, right? I mean, number one, they're influencers. Every one of them is an influencer. They just found a vehicle that they could go out and impact a ton of lives and get paid for it that kept them here instead of moving on to the next best thing. I laugh because Janie has almost convinced me so many times to buy a Peloton bike. I'm like, I teach spin. I don't need a bike of someone, but she's like, oh my gosh. And she like gets me so fired up. I'm like always ready to get off the phone and buy $1,000 bike that I don't need because she's so influential. Think about the qualities of the people in our company, Emily Vavra, Susan Sly, Lisa DeMeo, right? If they're faith-based, if they're service-oriented, if they are powerful, if they're organized, if they're fun, I mean, whatever that may be. And so the other day I was at a wedding and there was a girl that just was so fun. Like she was so charismatic. And I was telling my boyfriend and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I am definitely talking to that girl. Like she's the type of girl I want in my business. And he said, why? And I was like, what? And he goes, I'm just curious. And remind you guys, he's a business development director, right? So he said, why? What is it that you saw? And I thought he was like challenging me a little bit because I'm just curious. What is it you were looking for? And I said, well, number one, she looks fun. People want to be around her. I can see this girl training on stage. And so look at her shoes. Like she had these wild, funky, like snake print kind of high heels on. I said, that girl doesn't give a rat's about what people think about her. You know, I said, she could care less about rejection. This girl is bold. She's going to do whatever she wants. And he just said, yeah, totally. She'd probably recruit a lot of people. What do you see in her that you think she could develop other people? And I was like, oh, I don't know, right? And it was kind of like the saying we've all heard of what got you here is not going to get you there. And it made me stop and think that I was like, I don't know anything about if this girl is focused on other people, if she has great time management, what her background is. And it doesn't mean I wasn't going to talk to her. It just made me think for a second that when we're recruiting on LinkedIn, you know, when we're going to networking events, when we're recruiting on Facebook, I mean, Jimmy Smith built his massive organization because he went after influencers. He went after networkers. He knew that Isagenix was the Willy Wonka of network marketing, and he went after top earners of other companies to give them a home with Isagenix. Jessica Rigner is doing the exact same thing. Her business is skyrocketed in a way I've never seen it in the 5 years of working with her. She is doing the same thing because she knows the qualities she's looking for. She's rock solid that if she is building her, you know, millionaire team, she knows what she's looking for. And so I encourage you guys that when you're developing people and you're recruiting, get clear on the qualities of the people that want to run with you. Kathy Coover always talks about your 5. And I have a lot of great synergy right now with certain people in the team because one's a recruiter, one's a cheerleader, one's a goal setter, one's good at events, right? And we're playing with each other. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can start to see why this works. So when you're bringing people in and you're casting the vision and you're inviting them to take a look at this, don't just talk about the 30-day. Tell them one of the things that I love about you is you're an influencer. People want to do what you have. People want to be a part of what you're doing. You'll crush this. If I was able to do this without that skill, you'll pass me in no time. I cannot wait to see you fly by me, right? Like pour into them that they're like, what? I mean, this week alone, you guys, I've sat down with 2 Rodan Fields girls. I'm sitting down with a girl from the legging company that's in trouble. I'm sitting down with a Beachbody girl. Last week I sat down with a Monet girl. Like I'm getting it, right? And I'm only sharing this with you because it's so important that when you want to take this to the next level, you want to have people that know how to develop people. You want to bring in people that have the skill set. So you guys, Kathy Coover, she said, let's go ballistic. 1 enrollment a week. Every one of you can do that. Like you're in fast track, 15 enrollments in the next 15 weeks, 1 a week. I have no idea what they're talking about at NYKO, but I will tell you this, I'm not one of those people on the sidelines. Like I want to be there and already know that I'm like a top 20 point earner and not even knowing how I got there. Jen and Adam are like that. Erin's like that. Laura's like that. We will always go first. We'll only ask you to work as hard as we're asking you guys. So thank you so much for being on here, you guys. I know that I bring the tough love, but that's because I know what all of you are capable of. I want the best for you. I want the best for this company. And sometimes I'll just give you a swift little kick in the rear end when I think you're playing small because we all can rise up. We all can play harder and play bigger. So thank you guys. I'm going to say goodnight, but like I promised, I'm happy to stay on and sit here and chat for a few more minutes. If you guys have any questions or if you guys want to just talk a little bit more once everybody says goodnight. I know it's late on the East Coast, so. You guys are welcome. Thank you, thank you. I'm seeing your comments. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I will post the calls and I'll post the homework and you guys sign up for the Legacy Club. So since nobody said anything, I'm going to close the call and stop the recording. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you. I love you tons. And next week, it's back to Erin.
Let's go, baby. Let's crush it, guys. Thanks, Lauren.
Good night.